Well, hello, and an extremely warm welcome back to the channel. And I'm aware it's been a few weeks now since an upload, so I'm going to try and rectify that today. We'll hopefully run a couple of locos later. But because I haven't been up in the railway room for best part of a month and a half, there's a lot of debris on the table. Now, I do try and keep the railway as clean as possible, but the nature of the building, it's a very old building. Now, I did replace all the slates and put a really nice membrane under them, but I haven't got the insulation or anything up yet. I do get slate dust and other bits of debris dropping down, and I do wonder sometimes whether four-legged creatures are leaving presents for me. You can see little objects that need to be sucked up. Look at this. But it's just a question of spending 5 or 10 minutes and going round all the railway to give it a tidy. Now, when I go back through the comments, a lot of people say, how do you get to the back of the layout? Well, you can see how I do that because I'm up on the table at the moment and I'm roaming around. It's a very strong table when I built it. So if I get a bad derailment, say going into the station or along this back, I hop up. And it's quite easy to move around the whole of the layout, actually. You can see some more debris there. Lovely little LMS Ginty just parked on one of the overhead sections. So, yeah, I'm hoping to run a couple of locos for you in a minute, but I am going to spend just a bit of time on the top of the table trying to tidy things up. And you do get quite a good view. Let me see if I can just step back a bit, just watch my head on the roof. And you can start to see the actual overhead layout of all the track and the stations. Excuse the shadow, I'm probably obscuring quite a bit of the light standing just here. But yeah, while I'm up here, there'll just be a little bit of cleaning. I've got 1 or 2 sections of track I just want to check for tightness, and then I'll join you in a minute back down at the controls and we'll have a look and see what's on the railway and have a little bit of running. Okay, well, I'm back down and just having a look around the railway. You might spot 1 or 2 bits I've missed because the battery went flat a little bit quicker than I was expecting in that vacuum. But anyway, I suppose most of these locos have featured in previous videos because I haven't really had time to change them. But let's just move on the downward line. This really interesting Airfix loco. You'll know I've been running this quite a bit. I just love the way it goes. Very smooth. I know the plastic's cracking in various places, but it's just such a lovely thing. Drawing just at the moment, and you might not see this because it flickers on the camera, but it's 0.1617 of an amp as it runs slowly, and we'll just follow it round for a minute. So the rails have stayed pretty clean. That's one of the benefits of the nickel plating. And just look at that little old Airfix loco from the 70s doing some great slow running. I must say it's good to be back up here. I'm wasting a bit of time playing with trains. We've had some interesting weather over the last few weeks, ranging from exceptionally hot to thunderous downpours, so always something to be keeping an eye out for. Luckily no leaks in the railway room. Right, I'm going to open up points G and see if I can get this little green R59 tank out. Let me just have a look. Let's just see whether it'll come out onto the upward main line. Oh, suddenly tearing away there. There's probably a reason for that. I perhaps didn't quite isolate this class 31, so for a moment I had 2 locos drawing current. I've been having a lot of fun running this train. It's making a few noises now, but you can't beat the old Triang R59. Let's slow it down. Now I have to say, I nearly got tempted the other day. A little bit of battle space. Now, pretty sure this well wagon is the same as the one that carries that lovely big red rocket, and I was just thinking it might be good fun to tow a big red rocket around with my gunpowder train, but we'll see. Slight hesitation over those points there, so I think it's soon time to give this R59 a little bit of a clean up. The metal wheels on these Triangs, they do pick up a little bit of dirt. And what's happening here with the Airfix loco seems to have just come to a halt. Let's put a bit more power in. I'm wondering if that's found a little bit of dirt and debris. All these things happen when you're not using the railway all the time or keeping things clean. Now look at that. I think I've overzealously... Oh, it might have been derailed. Well, I might have done that myself. Just bear with me if I can encourage it back on the track. Keep an eye on that. Let's put the power back on and see whether we're working again. Well, it's working again. Let's watch it go round again and see whether it's just come off by itself. So if that had happened at the back of the layout, I'd have just hopped up on the board and done it from above. So I'm following this Airfix model now, looking to see what's going to happen around this third radius curve. Can I see any debris on the tracks? Doesn't look too bad. Maybe just one of those toy train derailments. Right, I need to do something now. Get another loco out, I think. Let's just follow the R59 around. I think I'm going to try and bring that into one of the double track loops. I've got a fuel oil train here with no loco on it, so I'm just going to move that round and then just see whether I can open point C just here, and then I'm going to run that R59 into the outer of the double track loops. So let's just encourage it along a bit. Ooh, yes, those wheels definitely need a clean, but it's been sat out here for a little while, so I'm just going to stop it there by the back there of that other train. Let's have a look. We've got point C. Yeah, the Airfix loco's going round. Right, let's see if I can get this class 31 out. So I'm going to open points G again. It should actually be set for running. I don't know. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, now there's a long rake of wagons behind this, so anything could happen. Points G now shut. And here comes the class 31, and this is my 5-pole conversion. But look at that. It's running quite nicely after its few weeks layoff. I'm just going to back that off a bit. Certainly good to be back running a train or two. So much to catch up on after my recent time away. I've got a bit of a backlog in the clock repair workshop. Got a lot of tasks that need completing elsewhere, so there is very little free time. But one thing, heavy thunderstorms do give you an excuse to get up and run a few locos. Right, these are both going quite well now, so I need to just slightly back off the voltage. And we'll finish off this short video watching these two excellent items run around the railway at quite nice speeds. Now, if you've got some suggestions of locos you'd like to see that I might have got in my collection, it'd be great to read about them in the comments. It's a little while since I've run the red Coronation. I thought I might get that out fairly soon. Or I did find a really nice version of the Dealey 3F, the really nice maroon Triang loco. I have run one of those on the layout before, but I've got one that's had very little use that looks really smart. I thought that might be a nice item to run. And I do need to get that overhaul of the nickel plating plant completed. Ooh, I just wondered whether I heard a derailment then. Something sounds a little bit dodgy. I think the best wood, yeah, we got two. Oh, yeah, we got two. We've got a little bit of a derailment, and of course you can see which ones have derailed, can't you? The finer flanged, more modern items. Now, can I get those back on? Let's have a little look. These are easy to, and they're very light, aren't they? These modern, well, when I say modern, they're not really modern, but they're newer than the items I normally run. We've had a little bit of an issue. Now, maybe that's back on, so let's see. That's part of the fun of running older and newer rolling stock items together. Of course, you've got the heavier Triang items at the back of the rake, and when you pull around the corners or the tighter curves, there's quite a bit of effort, and it can encourage the fine scale wheels to jump off the track. But I think it's possibly all right again. I'll keep an eye on it. These are definitely not items to leave unattended on the railway. But it is nice to run some of the newer items together with the older ones. I never really get much trouble with Triang, early Triang or Wren wagons derailing, but the slightly more modern Hornby items are a little bit more finicky. But they look good. Okay, well, I think that's enough chit-chat from me. I'm enjoying these two locos running round, and I'm going to give you a few more shots of them. And I'll be back soon with another upload, and hopefully a great update on the nickel plating tank. So until then, I hope you all have time to enjoy the excellent weather when it's with us, and you don't get too wet in the thundery downpours. So until the next video, I'll leave you with these items, and I'll say goodbye.